Okay, so I'm going to show you how to start a new project in Revit using an AutoCAD file that you've already been provided with as a resource. So, as usual, if you haven't got a template set up for you or that you've set up yourself, it's usually best to use the architectural template. And you can, of course, if you've got the welcome screen here, just click architectural template there. But if you have something open already, you can do what I've just done, go to the menu, choose new project, and then architectural template from the list. And then you can see, just to double check, that you have the ground floor as the open view there, which should mean that you have used the architectural template. And so straight away I want to insert the AutoCAD file that I've been supplied with, but I also want to check it to make sure it's going to work the way I want it to. So I've opened AutoCAD and I'm just going to go to open files there, and I'll open this file from the location that I've saved the files for you. So it's on the P drive, interior design, and then CAD for interiors, and then we've got brief 2 resources and town hall DWGs. So there you can see we've got a series of files. This is set up pretty well. So it's broken up with a file for each level, which is really important. So if you have a oh, I'm sorry, actually you don't need that one, so delete that. So if you have a file with all of the drawings combined, the first thing you'll need to do is split those files apart, so that each level at least is in a separate file. I'll open this up and show you. No. Yeah, that's right. And I've deleted that one anyway, so you shouldn't. Oh, did you? Oh, okay. So yeah, well, it won't. Yeah, it'll be gone. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so this one has. I think that's pretty well existing. It is my local hub, pretty much. So, but I hardly go in there anymore. So, no, it's a bit different now. So the pool tables are down here, but I mean that doesn't really matter. Everything else there is pretty well. So the. Oh, good. Okay. So yeah, we'll have a look at that in a minute. So I'm just quickly checking this. We've got the terrace, the men's toilet. I know is like that. I've never been into the women's, so I don't know if it's like that, but I'm assuming it is. The disabled is that way, and the pokies are over there. So that's pretty well right. Actually, these Michelle was. Oh, she's got headphones on. I know she was using these, so she probably knows as well as me. But that looks pretty right. I did some work on this place years and years ago, but it's changed a lot since then, and not all for the better. So let's have a look at the basement though. So yeah, okay, so that's good. I can just show you. Yeah, so if you wanted to split this apart, I'll show you the quick method you can use. So, I mean, you could for this project just delete the parts you don't want. That's always an option. But if you want to extract something from a file like this, an easy way in AutoCAD is just to make a window around the things that you want, and then type W and enter, and that'll use the W block command. So W block means right block, so in other words, export the things that you've selected to a new file, essentially using a block, even though it actually won't be a block in the end anyway. So you could, if you want to, set the units there to millimetres, and choose the file location, and so here yeah. You don't have to set the units because you get a chance to set them again when you import it into Revit. But let's just have a look. So I might call this TH exist basement. You don't need to. You actually shouldn't choose an insertion point because that'll confuse things and double up. Usually, if you want to get an insertion point, there's a better method. So now I'm going to go back to the ground floor plan, and you can see then as I zoom out that the icon in the bottom left corner isn't moving to show me where the origin is. And there's a setting that controls that, but you can always find the origin if it's not clear from the you can tell from the lines on the screen, the grid lines, but just try drawing a line from 0, 0 if you're not sure, and there you can see that the origin is basically where that red line and the green line intersect. Just a bit unclear sometimes. I know on the projector you might have trouble seeing that. So there is a green line there that you can actually see, but the red line, I know it's pretty hard to see, but there's a red line there, and so the origin you can see at the end there. But it doesn't hurt sometimes just to draw a line from the origin to make sure. So that is probably a good location for the origin, but there isn't really an object there that's right on that point. So one option would be to pick everything up and use move and snap maybe the corner of this wall or the awning. Maybe I'll use, I think probably the wall, and then oh yeah, so object snaps the little rectangle with the asterisk in the corner. So oh yeah, sure, yep. And so then to type in the origin, we need to use a special option. So you actually have to go to the list sometime and make sure dynamic inputs are visible. So clicking on the three lines there in the bottom right corner, you'll see you've got an option then to turn on dynamic input. And then it's the button with a little cross and a solid rectangle. And if you hover over it, it's about fourth from the left. Then you can turn dynamic input off, and that will allow you to type 0, 0 and have it move to the origin. It's one of those tricky little things with AutoCAD. If you leave dynamic input on, it'll put an @ in front of the 0, 0, which means essentially the objects won't move at all. So, so that can help, because now if I go to the basement file, I'm going to just open that up. Okay, so we've got this wall here, that corner point there, and so if I select these objects and go to move, dynamic input's still turned off, so that's fine. And so then I'm going to click onto that wall corner to pick up my objects, and then type 0, 0. And so now that wall should be located in the same place as the ground floor. So they should line up when I bring them into Revit. Okay, so then we're going to double check that in Revit anyway, but that doesn't hurt to do it like that. And so then I'll save those files, and actually I'll save this as well with a new name, so that I'm not overwriting the originals. So I'm going to call this TH exist, because it's not prop, it's not proposed, it's existing, ground floor, and then the basement as well. I'll just save that. And maybe I'll just repeat that process for the first floor. And here, it's hard to know if the wall there is the same, well, the wall end is the same as on the other drawings. So I might try and find something else that's a good reference. Let's see if there is anything we can use. Stairs are usually good. So the stairs should be showing on both drawings. So I've got there the stair. Should never put down on a stair in Australia as well, but anyhow, that's okay. So we've got there the stair, which is at least showing us to the landing. And here, of course, it doesn't. So that's great. Okay, so maybe we'll try another one. What have we got? Okay, so maybe this stair's better. And so let's look at the ground floor over here. Okay, so that should, well, still not great. Oh, well, I can try this line here, so that may work. So we've got to get some reference that's common across these drawings. What about the back, actually? Oh yeah, so maybe the back corner. So that might be the best. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but that might be the best. So hopefully that outside corner is the same. So what I can do is just draw a line in the ground floor drawing from the corner there to 0, 0. And then I'm going to select that line, right click, and then go to the clipboard option and choose copy. Then I can go to my first floor drawing, right click, and go to the clipboard option and then choose paste to original coordinates. Okay, so we've got the line there marking where this corner of the building should be. So again, I'm just going to select everything, but this time I'll use Shift to deselect that line and click onto it. And then I can use Move again, but this time pick up the corner there as my base point and then snap it onto the end of my line. So when you have multiple stories in AutoCAD, that is the best way to set it up, and you only need to do it with the plans. You don't need to worry about the elevations or sections. You often don't even need to worry about importing those. So I'll just again do a save as, even though I saved this one. I should have done a save as first, but we'll just save this as exist as well, just so it's consistent. Okay, so now ready to bring this into AutoCAD. From AutoCAD into Revit. So I'll show you a couple of other little tricks as well. If you know that you have multiple levels and you're going to make a basement level that's not entirely below the ground, it sometimes helps to turn the ground floor into your basement. Now, those of you doing the town hall, are you going to have the ground showing outside of the building? I'm assuming you might need to. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, yeah, it does slope down. Yeah. Now look. Yeah, what I'll say is we'll keep it simple and we'll just make a level. So if you go into your south elevation, for example, you can make a level there that is below the ground floor and call that basement and have a negative height. So if you're happy to have negatives for your levels, then that'll work. If you want everything to be positive, then there's another way of doing it, but that's okay. If you want to have everything, so if you're happy to have negatives, that's good. So I've got those three levels, and you can see then that Revit's automatically made a new basement floor plan. I've got the original ground floor in level 1, and later we'll need to make another level for the roof. So the basic rule of thumb when you're setting up these views is that you have a level for each floor, each main floor, not every floor level, but each main floor. And then also, may as well do it now actually, a level for the roof, or if you're not going to have a roof, for the ceiling above your final floor level. Oh, now there is actually, sorry, there are, I've only ever been up to the first floor, but there's another floor above that, isn't there?
Yes.
Oh, it is the roof.
There's rooms up there.
Oh, right. Right, okay. Oh, right, okay. Yep, right, okay. Well, we'll just call it roof for now. Oh, you can, right, okay. God. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, we can always modify it, so that's the great thing about Revit, it's flexible. Yep. So, anyhow, for now we'll just call it roof. And so then we're ready to bring those drawings in. And so, to do this is something that I showed you last time, but probably wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense initially. It's really important that you duplicate the view instead of just bringing it into the initial floor plan, because you don't want it messing up that drawing or that view. So I'm just going to right click on ground floor, go to duplicate, and then I've got ground floor copy 1, which I'll right click on again and choose rename, and we'll call this ground floor DWG. Then I'm going to go to insert, and here I'm going to use import CAD. Sometimes it's good to use link CAD if you think you're going to be updating those drawings, because then you can keep working on them in AutoCAD and have the changes flow through into Revit. But those drawings probably aren't going to change. They're showing what's existing, and we're not going to change that. So I'm going to use import CAD instead, and find the file I've just saved. So no, so that's the folder on my P drive. So here we go. Okay, so then there are a couple of options here that are really important. This is the one everyone always forgets: current view only. The basic rule is, if it's 2D, always use that option. If it's 3D, usually you won't use that option. Okay, so if it's 2D, you pretty much should always have current view only turned on. If you don't, you're just going to create work for yourself. The units, we know they're millimetres, but it doesn't hurt to tell Revit that. Colours, preserve is often a good option, but here I know they're red and green. That could be hard to work with, so I might set it to black and white. And then the positioning there. So you've got a few different options. In this case, origin to origin should work pretty well, because we know where the origin is in AutoCAD. And so by using origin to origin, we can automatically line these drawings up. So I'm just going to click OK, or click Open. So my corner there should be right in the middle of these 4 views. So that's my axis, and so the corner should be right there. There it is. So now you can see that my elevation view, especially this one, this north elevation, is sitting over the top of the building. So I can select that using a window going left to right, and that will only select what's inside it. It won't select the drawing. If I go right to left, then it will select the drawing as well as my views. So left to right around the view, and then I'm going to use the Shift key and then press the up arrow just to nudge that view up above the building. Same with the south elevation. It's usually best to select with a window because there are 2 objects there. So nudging that up. Section view, I can probably just click and drag to move that to a better location. And then the same with these east and west elevations. You can just click and drag to move those after selecting them. Okay, so you can always reposition those elevation views so that it works with your project from the beginning. And I can even change the length of the section line. It's much easier if you get all this working from the get-go. Alright, so now, when I go to do the next level, level 1, again the same way, I'm going to right click on level 1, go to duplicate view, duplicate, and then import CAD. All I need to do is choose the file that I've saved. I can leave all the options there as they are. And it's coming in the right place. I don't need to redo the views because they're all done in 3D. So everything is done for me. All I've got to do is rename that view. And then the basement, exactly the same thing. So right click, duplicate view, duplicate, import CAD. And there we are, all good. But, there's one last thing I'll just show you. Still helpful to have some references so we can check things across those different levels. So I'm going to draw a reference plane, trying to pick up some of the important elements here. So the internal face of that wall there is probably an important reference across all the levels. So I'm just going to trace that using a reference plane. Extend that maybe out beyond the building. And then if I go to my ground floor, drawing, you can see that lines up exactly with that wall, and same with level 1 drawing. Again, lines up exactly. Well, okay, so you can see there's some sort of inaccuracy, or maybe I messed up the positioning slightly. You can always adjust that, but it's pretty close. So I better rename that basement. Okay, so I could do just to continue from there, I could do another reference plane maybe on the other side, but you can see that these walls are at an angle. It's really nice when you bring in an AutoCAD file, you can trace the line work. That's the big advantage you have when it's an AutoCAD file. You can snap to those lines just like they've been drawn in AutoCAD. But if I go now to the ground floor view, I can see the reference plane there lines up with that wall pretty well. So that's good. Then on level 1, that wall is obviously underneath this roof here, but it again lines up with this part of it here pretty well, at least it's the same angle. There probably are some mistakes with that. Well, maybe I've made a mistake as well. I might move that across afterwards. But then what I wanted to show you is now if I go to an elevation view, I can't see that reference plane. I can only see the vertical one because it's perpendicular to the view. So in other words, it's at a right angle, and so we can see that. But this one here is at an angle to the view, so we can't see that in the elevation view, and we wouldn't see it in the section view either. So you can see the one reference plane there. And it can be helpful to be able to see the width of your building or your space in an elevation view from the beginning. So there's a little trick there I can show you. If you just draw a reference plane from one of the corner points and make that perpendicular, so at 90 degrees, in other words. And that will be a useful thing in many situations. So here I'm going to draw another one that is at 0 degrees, coming out from that corner. And so the result of that is that if I look in a drawing or a view where I can't see the drawings that I've imported, so those original ground floor and basement views, I've still got a set out point marked with those reference planes. And even more importantly, if I go to the south elevation now, I can see that reference plane on the left there. So that tells me the width of the building. And then I can adjust the levels to suit. So I can stretch those across. so that they're matching the size of the building. And then if I go to the north elevation, the building at that end is narrower. That's showing the width on the south side, but that's fine because that's the maximum size of the building. And then going back to the the basement with the drawing. Okay, so I can use the same approach there. We've got this reference plane, but that's not at the bottom. I've got to draw another one from this corner. So here you can draw a reference plane either from the inside or the outside. I might do it from the outside corner. And actually this one, just to be consistent, I might move over to the outside. So there you can see it's not snapping automatically to the endpoint. So if you type SE, that will force it to snap to the endpoint. And in this case, the end of the AutoCAD line. And so then I'll draw another reference plane from the top corner here and make sure that goes exactly horizontal. And so then if I go to my east or west elevations, now I can see those reference planes because they're perpendicular to those views. So again, this time I can stretch the levels out that way. And you want the levels to go across your whole building from the beginning. Makes a lot of things work better. Same with the sections. I've just extended the sections there, or the section top and bottom. And so now if I look in my section view, you can see that's the size of the building. Okay, so I won't do too much modelling here, but just to get you started, use simplest objects you can. So I'm measuring the walls here. Just trying to get that to go perpendicular. So you can see there it's pretty close to 350. It's been drawn a bit inaccurately. It's 351.1. So using the wall tool, I would just start with one of the generic walls. Generic 300 is fine. Edit type, duplicate, and make it generic 350mm wall. And actually you can call that existing 350mm wall. I'm not going to change the colour yet. I'm just going to change the thickness there to 350. It's much better to have that round number rather than trying to draw it the size that's been drawn in AutoCAD. And then you can either trace lines by using the line segment here and just draw over the AutoCAD lines, or sometimes you can use pick lines to pick the lines you've drawn in AutoCAD. You can also set the levels. So here I'm just going to set the level to roof, location line to finish face exterior, and then with pick lines I can choose the outside face of these walls. It doesn't matter if it goes beyond. I can use trim to join those together after I've created them. So the very last thing I'll show you there, you can obviously spend some time generating those walls, but then you'll see that the walls are going to cover up the drawing. So a quick way of making it see-through is just to go to wireframe down the bottom, but then also go to fine, and then the walls will be see-through. It's a bit hard to see sometimes when you have black walls, but that looks okay. There, that wall maybe could be a different width, so measuring there, 300, well, luckily we've got the generic 300mm wall, which would be okay for now, but if you want to, you could always go and make a new name. Don't need to change any properties yet, but what that means is later, if I use that wall type, when I go and edit it, all those walls that are existing 300mm wall, I can change easily as a group. Okay, so looking in the 3D view there, not much to it, but I can easily now just continue tracing those walls, measuring the thicknesses as I go. So I'll give you some time to look at that, and I'll also do another video on how to do it with PDF for those working on the other project. So of course, don't forget to save as you go. Unfortunately, Revit doesn't have autosave, so you've got to force yourself to save regularly.